Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining once again. So, Florida Governor Ron Desantis has signed a bill that would allow chaplains and patriotic organizations to associate with the young people in the school systems. This will be by choice. The schools do not have to initiate this bill. They don't have to accept this, and parents do not have to accept it. It's not mandatory, but Governor Ron Desantis will sign this bill, and it will go into effect July the 1st, I believe. So let's get right into this article, because needless to say, there are some people that are angry at this. They think this is a problem. And one of these particular individuals is one of the leaders of the Satanic Temple, okay? Yeah, I said the Satanic Temple. I'm not mocking or any of that. This is literally what they're saying, that this is a problem. So let's get right into this. One could wonder, how is this a problem? Well, we'll find out. Yeah, so the article starts off, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Thursday signed a bill allowing religious leaders, and Thursday, needless to say, yesterday, religious leaders and patriotic organizations to interact with students in school, a move that the Satanic Temple plans to contest. DeSantis on Thursday held a conference signing two new bills, HB 1317 and HB 931, which he said would be beneficial to the mental health of Florida students. Let's see what he means by this. HB 931 establishes a statewide school chaplain program, which means schools can invite religious affiliates to provide counseling and other services to students who want it and have written permission from their parents. Did you hear that? If they want it, they can take it. It's not forced. If they want it, it's there, and it has to be written. There has to be a signed written agreement by their parents. What's the problem? Let's go on. There are some students where they need some soul craft, DeSantis said, that can make all the difference in the world. I totally agree. Our students, our young people need this. HB 1317 authorizes school districts to bring in, quote, patriotic organizations such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, the Boy Scouts of America, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and more. Not everyone knows what's all out there in the community, DeSantis said. I think students are better off being involved in any of these activities than just going home and being on electronics for the rest of the day. Bingo! One of the smartest doggone governors I know. Who would contest that? Who would disagree with that? I mean, come on, man, come on. Well, we're going to find out. Members of the Satanic Temple already are planning to test the limits of the school chaplain bill by bringing their own representatives into public schools. The question is why, though, right? Despite DeSantis' contempt for religious liberty, the Constitution guarantees our equal. First of all, I'm quoting. I don't see how he's being contemptuous for religious liberty. I don't see how. I mean, what are you talking about? But anyway, despite this DeSantis' contempt for religious liberty, the Constitution guarantees our equal treatment under the law, and DeSantis is not at liberty to amend the Constitution by fiat at whim, said Lucien Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple. He just invited satanic chaplains into public schools, whether he likes it or not. Wow. DeSantis, who has sparred with the Satanic Temple before, said that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Some have said that if you do a school chaplain program, that somehow you're going to have Satanists running around in all their schools, he said at the press conference Thursday. We're not playing those games in Florida. That is not a religion. That is not qualifying to be able to participate in this. The bill's sponsor, Senator Aaron Grell Pierce, however, has taken the opposite stance. Quote, I think that as soon as we get in the middle of defining what is religion and what is not, and whether or not someone can be available and be on a list, we start to run into constitutional problems, she said before the bill passed. Oh, come on. Either way, the power is in the hands of school districts as to whether or not they even want to implement a chaplain program. Schools with the chaplain program would have to provide a list of all volunteers and their religious affiliations, Desantis said. So we see right here, I said it before, this is in the power of the schools, whether or not they want to do this or not. It's not mandatory. Any prospect volunteer chaplain will also have to undergo a background check, Desantis said. State Democrats who oppose the bill, of course, raised concerns about far-right Christian nationalist groups participating in the program. I highly doubt some far-right nationalist groups are going to participate in the program. And if they do, only liberals would talk stupid like this. Only liberals and progressive Democrats would talk crazy like this. Far-right groups, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Initiate terrorist acts? That's what you guys been doing. Let's stop. Let's go on. Quit with all the foolishness. Other critics raised questions about the credentials of people who would interact with minors. The law would interact with minors. And that makes sense. I understand that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's a valid question. You know, that's a valid question. The credentials of people who would interact with minors. But according to what Desantis said, these people are going to be investigated. The law goes into effect July the 1st. So, yeah, that's the end of the article there. But Governor Desantis said these people would be investigated. So I don't know how exactly he's going to do that. I don't know how he's going to enforce that. But that's what he said. And I believe it will work. I think that this is a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I'm not saying that simply because I'm a conservative and Ron DeSantis is a Republican and and a lot of policies he's pushing I agree with. I'm not saying that necessarily. If it's something that I don't agree with, I'll say it. I don't agree. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. But at this point, I don't see any problem with it. I don't see any problem with it at all. Now, what I am criticizing is these members of the Satanic Temple who have a problem with it. Why do they have a problem with it? Why do they have a problem with it? What's the problem? I mean, what's the problem? See, I would be concerned if some of these groups, and I'm not saying all of the satanic groups do this, but let's be realistic though. A significant number of these satanic groups out here are involved in all kinds of evil things when it comes to children. And I'm not going to say it on this YouTube channel because this YouTube channel will get taken down. The video will get taken down. But these types of abuses towards children have been linked to these groups. And they haven't been Christian groups. And if they claim to be Christian groups, there was just a front to hide the evil behind. Okay? It was actually a satanic group, not a Christian group. So let's quit playing games. So what's the problem here? Why is this a problem? It's not a problem. Our youth need this spiritual support. Our youth need organizations that are pro-America and not against America. And I want to say this again before I close this video. Clearly, I'm going to reiterate this. Clearly, this is not by force like the far left try to do it. Far left will force certain things on you. That's what bothers me about, one of the things that bothers me about the left, the far left in particular. They'll sit up and yick and yak and snot and get upset about people on the right and conservatives. But clearly this is a choice of the schools and the choice of the parents. If the parents don't want it, if they don't want their kids to be a part of it, they don't have to be a part of it. Okay? But the left, they'll force this kind of stuff on you like they're doing in some of these businesses and some of these schools. What is it, DIE? What is it? Diversity and equity inclusion, which is nothing but another term for communism, to put everybody on the same level. But they're saying you need to be trained this way. You need this kind of training. So we're going to force it on you. And if you don't get this kind of training, you're going to get fired. But the minute someone creates a conservative platform, it's a problem. And by choice, it's a problem. I can tell you why it's a problem. Because the conservative worldview goes against their worldview. And their worldview is evil. Period. There is a such thing as right or wrong. There is a such thing as good and evil. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. A battle between good and evil, particularly with ideology. Okay? So hooray for Ron DeSantis. This is good as what he's doing. People, regardless of what people think about Ron DeSantis, this guy is, in my opinion, one of the best governors in our country at this time. He's really doing it up. As far as the president is concerned, he doesn't have that. He don't have that charisma. He doesn't have that it factor in terms of being a president. But as a governor, he's doing it. He's doing it up. And I'm proud that he has signed this bill into action that would allow these groups to come in, these Christian groups to come in and help the children. And I said, I mean, I can understand, you know, some concern and so forth. These could be front groups for Satanism. I don't know. It could be, but they're going to have to be investigated. So prayerfully, Ron DeSantis has some avenues in place that would implement doing some serious, intensive background searching for these people that are claiming to be affiliated with these Christian groups and so forth, like Boy Scouts and so forth, because these groups have been infiltrated. Now, let me say this and close the video on this. These groups like the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of America, a lot of these groups were started off as Christian groups, and they became infiltrated by non-Christian groups and non-Christian ideology. They weren't front groups. They were Christian groups, but then these other groups that were contrary to them infiltrated their inner workings, and they became something bad that they weren't from the beginning. That's what we're seeing with what's going on with a lot of these groups today. Communists and socialists and the progressives, but particularly communists in particular, infiltrate pre-existing groups with their ideology and worldviews. They get that pre-existing group to accept their ideology and worldviews, to get them and convince them that they want to come and help them. And so everybody falls for the lie, which communism is, a big, fat, satanic lie. And they fall for it, they adopt the worldview, and the next thing you know, they turn an organization inside out. It becomes a radical communist front group. Same principle with groups like Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts of America, and so forth, that Ron DeSantis, that this article mentions, that's going to be a part of counseling these young people in the schools in Florida. Infiltration. But let's hope that's not the case. These background checks should be able to establish that. Okay, so let's see what happens. I am glad that he's doing this. I just pray and hope that the background checks are accurate and thorough. So what do you guys think? Your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.